Thank you so much for joining us today, and we're all really excited to get to know you and hear your story. So let's
Yeah.
start from the beginning. Can you tell us a
Okay.
little bit about yourself and how you first found out you had ALS?
Sure. So I have always been like a workaholic. Up until COVID, I was working three jobs. I work for Blue Cross and insurance company. I also worked at like an ice cream shop. I was just waitressing, like I was always working like crazy. So then COVID hit and I just went down to one job and that was that. But then like so that doesn't really have anything to do with anything except for just the fact that I was always like a super go, go, go type person. So then it was 2022 over the summer. My hand started, I kept saying acting stupid. Like my thumb would get stuck like this. Like I would pick something up and it would get stuck and I'd have to pull it back with my other hand. And I was like, look at what my thumb can do. It's being stupid. I was 36 years old. Like I didn't think anything of it. 36, 37, 37. But I was just like, this is weird. And then it started to like, my hand started to get weaker, but I didn't even know it was weakness. Like I didn't know what to describe it as. I assumed I had like a pinched nerve or something. Like I couldn't do a zipper for a friend's wedding. Another friend and I were trying on dresses and I couldn't zipper them. And I was like, she's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. My hand's being stupid. Like I didn't think of it as weakness because I just never had experienced anything like that. So then that was the summer of 2022. And then by January, Martin Luther King Day, I had gone out to play in the snow with my daughter, and I absolutely could not hold my fingers straight enough to get a glove on. And I was like, I had like a mental breakdown internally, and I had to have her come try to help me. And I was like, okay, I guess it's time to go get this checked out. So I went and had an appointment with my PCP's office, and they looked at it and they said, "Oh, we see muscle wasting." No idea what that meant, like muscle wasting and weakness. And I was like, "Okay." So she's like, "We're gonna send you for an EMG," which I don't know exactly what it stands for, but they put needles into you and electrocute you and see what your muscles and nerves do. Not pleasant. 0 out of 10. So I had that. I totally didn't think it was anything serious at that point, assumed I still just had a pinched nerve because why would I have something serious? And then the neurology office called me and they're like, okay, we're going to see you in a week from today, at the neuromuscular specialty instead of just a neurologist. And I was like, well, this doesn't sound good. They're like, we need you to come in next week. It was a Tuesday. They're like, we need you to come in Monday. I was like, oh, Monday doesn't really work for me. Can we do a different day? And they were like, nope, we're going to see you on Monday. So I was like, oh, okay, it's getting very serious. And so I went into the appointment and she went through like the results of the test. I had no idea what any of it meant. She was speaking very like layman's terms to me, but I just had no idea what that meant. And then she said, so do you know what ALS is? And I said, yeah. And she was like, okay, that's a diagnosis that's on the table. And I was like, wait, you mean the ALS that kills people? Like, I had known the words, I knew the name, but I didn't know what that really meant for me. So then I just lost it. The doctor was great. She sat there, let me, have my feelings, wasn't like, so I mean, thankfully I had a good experience, at least with the doctors that I dealt with. My story is very different than most people I know because I was that first my EMG was the very end of January, and then February 8th I was told that it might be ALS. They did a bunch of other tests, and then on April 18th they sent me to the ALS clinic and said like you have ALS. So my diagnosis was very quick. I partly think that that's because I'm in Boston. Like they have an ALS clinic. They have a lot of, really good medical care and everything, and doctors and specialists. But I have friends that it took like years to diagnose, and they had like carpal tunnel surgery, shoulder surgery. They were put through all of these things for all of it to not work. And mine, it was just like, nope, it was very, very quick. So I'm thankful for that. I mean, I didn't want the diagnosis, but it was better than having to be told. Some people too were told that, oh, it's anxiety. A lot of females, oh, it's anxiety. You're stressed out in your body. You're doing this to your body. You need to stop being so stressed out. I probably would have lost my mind if anyone told me that. But so yeah, that's my story of how I was initially diagnosed.
If you could go back to that day that you were first diagnosed, what would you tell yourself to really put everything into picture?
Um, I I don't know. That's a good question. When they told me that ALS was a diagnosis that was on the table, that hit me like a ton of bricks, and I like couldn't even begin to find words that like made sense about anything. But after that moment, then I had some MRIs done and CAT scan, like I had all types of things done and blood work. And at first, like I started hoping that it wasn't ALS, but then I just was like, you know what? I can't live in a world where I pretend this is not that and then have the rug pulled out from underneath me and find out that it is ALS. Like, I can't go down that emotional roller coaster again from like day one to like the end. So I was very emotionally prepared, I would say, because everyone else was like, they're gonna find something else. It's not. Why are you freaking yourself out about it ahead of time? You don't even know yet. And I was like, but I know, like, I just know that this isn't gonna turn into something else. They're not gonna find anything else. So, um, I was emotionally prepared. Like, I was mentally prepared. Emotionally, I was a wreck. My daughter had been with her father, and all I wanted to do was hug her and hold her, but I also didn't want to see her because I was like, how can I face her and like not lose it? She was 7 at the time. So, or six, maybe just turned 7. Yeah. So it was just like it was a rough time, but for me, I was the one who was accepting of the diagnosis more than anyone else around me. And everyone else was like, no, they're gonna find something else. I'm like, no, they already tried. Like, we already did that. They're like, well, let's get a second opinion. I'm like, I'm already at Mass General Hospital ALS clinic. I don't think there's anywhere else to go. Like, I'm already at the best of the best. So, yeah, I don't know if there's really anything I would like. I guess if I knew how slow it was gonna go, because mine's been slow progressing, like if I could go back now, I would tell myself to chill out. Like, it's scary, but you're not. I thought I was gonna die in like 15 minutes, like obviously dramatic, but that's how it felt. It was like, oh my God, everything I did, I thought was gonna be the last time I ever did it. Like, this is gonna be my last birthday. This is gonna be my last time I go to the beach. And for some people, that diagnosis, it is. But for me, thankfully, mine's been slow. But yeah, I thought I was like gonna be, because you see it, it's like 2 to 5 years. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Like, so yeah, if I had known it would be slow progressing, I would say like pump the brakes, calm down. The world is not going to end tomorrow. You have time.
Well, I'm grateful that your prognosis is pretty good comparatively to.
Yes, yeah.
You talk a lot about how her ALS and everything, like your family has helped you a lot. So what kind of support system has really made a difference for you?
So first with my doctors at MGH, like day one, it's overwhelming, but I went in and I saw a neurologist. They bring in physical therapy, pulmonology, like they have a whole team that you meet with. Again, it was overwhelming at first, but it was like, okay, you're gonna talk to all the people that are gonna be part of your care team. So that was helpful just from the start because if I had questions, I could contact the appropriate people. And then I was already doing occupational therapy because we didn't know what was wrong. And it was like, all right, well, let's get started on that. And my occupational therapist is incredible. Her dad unfortunately passed away from ALS, but he was like, she knew so much about it, which was really helpful because she was like, you got to reach out to these people, you got to look into this. Like, she was giving me resources that a standard, physical occupational therapist might not know of. Like, they could know to treat me with it, but she had just like additional resources, which was really helpful. I have a really good group of girlfriends that were like day one. They've always been supportive, but it was like the first day that we went out. I think it was that Friday, and I was diagnosed on Monday or Tuesday. And we went out, and they're like, oh, I didn't realize they did this, but beforehand they were like, okay, we're gonna go by Kelly's vibe. Like, if she wants to be sad and miserable, we're being sad and miserable tonight with her. If she's happy and pretending this isn't happening, we're being happy and pretending this isn't happening. If she wants to be morbid, we're being morbid. Like, and if you can't handle this, then don't come tonight because that's what we're doing. So that was like really helpful because I didn't have to, and I was all over the board. It was funny because I'm like, who wants to take a shot? And they're like, oh, got to take a shot with the dying girl. Like, we just, they're like, we'll let you use this card for a little bit, but we're not going to let you use it forever because we don't like shots. Like, okay. And then my family, definitely, we're all very close, but I have my mom, two sisters and brother. My dad passed away 10 years ago now. But we just have a really close connection. We're all very live within a town of each other, but they were a lot harder to come to terms with it. Which especially for my mom, but like looking at it from her perspective, if it was my daughter, I would be like, no, no, this is not happening. So they were very supportive, but it was hard at first. I kind of gave everyone a grace period and I was like, all right, everyone can have a month to come to terms with this. But if you can't come to terms with this by a month, like, I can't have you around me closely because I can't listen to people talk about how it's going to be something else. They're going to find some, like, I need you to live in the reality of what this is. So most people, it was fine. Like, some people it took a little bit longer, like my mom, I think, but she just wanted to be in denial about it because she doesn't want that to happen to her daughter, which is completely understandable. My fiance was tough because we weren't engaged then, but we had just bought a house together. We had like all of these life plans, and he's not a very like outwardly emotional person. His love language, if you will, is like acts of service. So like his is like showing up versus like, let's talk about this. So it was like all I could talk about for a while because it's all I could think about. But for him, he wanted to just like still have the life that we had planned and see where this took us. But so that was very hard at first, getting like managing that relationship while dealing with this. But since then, it's very much changed. I think so. The her ALS story retreat that we went on last year in September, that was like the first time I really saw him kind of step into that world because there's, 40 girls there that a lot of them need physical help, like moving from a wheelchair to a bed and like things like that. So he really like stepped up and helping, which made me feel like, okay, he can help me when we get to the point of, being when I'm immobile and things. So it took a while, but that was he definitely got there. And it wasn't that he wasn't there. It just was his emotional outward. It's just different. I'm very emotional, so for me it was very hard. And then I forget how I got connected with her ALS story, but I was connected to them and then joined the group. And they have a WhatsApp chat, and there's different like subcategories of it. They have a her ALS story moms group. So like we have a chat in there where anyone who's a mom can like talk about parenting children, whether it's related to ALS or not, like we just chat in there. Things like that. And they have a general chat, they have a vent session, like all these different chats. So we have it was a little, it took me a little while to get comfortable in the chat. But then once I did, I was like, oh man, these people really want me in here. I won't stop talking. But we literally talk like every single day, like constantly. It's just all day. My phone, Danica's like, my daughter, she's like, Mom, you're getting a text message. I'm like, yeah, honey, I know. Those are not gonna stop. So just don't worry about it. Like it's fine. But yeah, they've really the group, like we've got a couple women who were nurses prior to this. We have someone that was a lawyer. We have like just like all over the board. It's really crazy the different worlds that have come together. But the nurses are very helpful to like help answer questions as far as like, hey, this is going on. Do you think I should go to the emergency room? And like, we're not relying on them for like yes or no, but, or they're like, I hit my head. I think I'll be fine. And they're like, no, you need to go to the hospital. What are you doing? Like things like that. So it's helpful in that aspect. And some of these girls too, their hospitals, their doctors have no idea about ALS. Like they don't know a lot. Most are in the US, but we do have people in Canada, in Sweden, London, like all over. So we've got a whole gamut of types of care that people get. And the like some of the girls, they go to their appointments and they come back to the chat and they're like, well, that was great. I taught my doctor about things that they didn't know about ALS. And they were like, oh, this is great. And they're like, the patient's like, cool, I'm glad I could help you, but could you help me? Like, this is ridiculous. So it's really like a great sounding board for things like that too. Like we've found commonalities in some of our symptoms that are some doctors are like, nope, that has nothing to do with it. Like a lot of us have like bladder issues. I've had it my whole life, so that's a separate thing, but it's gotten worse with ALS. And my urologist, when I went in for an appointment right after I was diagnosed, he said, I was like, I have this and then ALS, and he was like, oh yeah, that's going to make it so much worse, like your bladder issue, because it's a muscle. And other girls have gone to their doctors and they're like, they're ALS doctors, and they're like, that has nothing to do with it. That's not related. How's it not related? It's a muscle. And they say because I guess ALS is your voluntary muscles, like your whatever. But I'm like, a bladder is voluntary as far as I'm concerned because babies don't come out not like you have to train your body to become like to take care of that. It's not, you know what I mean? So I find that crazy, but some of the girls they'll come back and they're like, "Wait, my doctor told me it has nothing to do with it, but I've been having all these issues." We're like, yeah, no, your doctor's wrong." Like, so just the like on an emotional level, on a like medical feeling related to things, feeling like validated, like it just there's so many different aspects that come out of it that are just I feel like has kept a lot of us alive, like emotionally, mentally, longer than we would have been if we were completely alone.
I think that community is really empowering, honestly. I think
Yeah.
there's that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. And we go through it all the time. Like we'll be having like a crisis about something and then we come back and we're like, you know, oh God, thank God I have you guys. I don't know what I would do without you. And we've got like new people joining so often, which is terrible because we're like, oh, so sorry that you're here, but so glad you found us. And so many of them are like coming in, they're like, oh my God, I just feel so seen. I feel so heard. Like I feel normal. I don't feel like an outsider, like just by talking to each other.
That's really
It's
nice.
incredible. Yeah.
What's a moment like big or small that ALS has really shifted your mindset through your journey of really understanding other people and where they're coming from?
Yeah, it's changed my mindset on things as far as just not caring about like stupid things like that would be, I live my life differently now. I look forward, I just, I spend my time and energy on the things that I want to, and I let go of the things I don't want to. For instance, I have a friend who is part of like our tight-knit group. Her and I have never been super close, but there's like five, six of us that have always been very close. And she lost it when I told her about my diagnosis, and like her and I don't talk individually very much. We never had, but like I was so surprised by her reaction. Like I was like, whoa, like I didn't expect that. But then I didn't hear from her again, like outside of like the group stuff. And I was like, like what the heck at first, you know? And now I've gotten to the point that I'm like, I don't care. Like, just please don't show up at my funeral hysterical because you could have been here when I'm alive. Just don't, but I'm not going to waste my time being upset about that. I'm just over it. Like, I'm not mad. That's fine. We were never super close. Like, this has brought some people much closer to me, and other people, like, it's not like she's doing anything intentionally to be mean. You're not part of that part of my life, and that's okay. But before I would have been like, oh my God, my feelings are so hurt, like all of that. Now I don't care. I'm like, whatever. Oh well. A lot of people will go to complain about something and then they look at me and they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And it's like some friends, especially at work, and I'm like, it's okay to have normal life complaints still. Like, treat me like I'm a normal person. If you want to tell me every single day that you have a headache or you hate your life because your life is boring or something, like if you want to complain to me about that every single day, I'm going to tell you shut up. But like you can still be tired because you didn't sleep well last night. Like that's still okay to say. So there's that, and then it's it's done in like a negative way too, as far as it's hard to care as much about other people's illnesses when they are treatable or curable, or the person's like much older. Like we are all like have been like desensitized to that. Because it's like my dad died at 60, and it's horrible because the cancer he had was the most treatable cancer there is, but they caught it too late. But I always thought like him dying at 60 was like so tragic. And I'm like, I don't even think I'll make it to 60. Like, and so seeing like some of these Facebook groups that I don't really, I'm in them, but I don't really follow them at all. Like somebody like 70, 80 years old and the caregiver is in there like, I don't know what to do my whole life and this and that. And I'm like, I I'm I understand this is horrible for you, but like they had 80 years. Like I was 40, like I was 37. Like I don't like take it somewhere else. I don't care. Like and it's horrible. I don't mean to feel that way, but it is hard like to have the same like sympathy for people that are dealing with either things at a much older age or that are like very treatable diseases. Like we were talking about the other day how all of us were hoping for like a brain tumor. And one of the girls had lost her mother to a brain tumor, so that was not, we weren't very helpful to her. And she was like, why would you want that? Like my mom died 6 months after being diagnosed with it. And we were like, okay, super sorry. But what the point of the statements were is hopeful for something that had a possibility of a cure, possibility of a treatment. Like that's all it was. I mean, if I could hope for a brain tumor or nothing, I'd hope for nothing. But if there's something that had at least a choice of a treatment, like then that would feel less devastating, you know? So yeah, it's definitely it's changed me in that way in like a negative light, but I don't walk around saying that to people. It's just how I feel. Just kind of like separate myself from that more. Whereas before I would have been like emotions all into everyone's like problems.
That's very understandable though.
Yeah.
just how
And I
life.
mean, it's, yeah, like if I see a young child that's sick, I'm like, that's horrible. Like, there's a girl in our group who's 20 years old and she's like progressing pretty quickly. And like, that is so hard to see her, like, knowing that. I mean, I had the best time with her at the retreat, but it just makes me so sad for someone like her.
Mhm.
So seeing somebody like 80, it's like, really sorry, that's terrible, but also you got 80 years like so it's just made us all a little like desensitized.
What hobbies or routines or like self-care practices really help you reset when you're having like a particular tough day?
um I like to listen to music a lot. I always have, so that's like always just been like a thing for me, just like putting on music and just everybody leave me alone. I really enjoy playing games on my phone, which is like I feel like such a waste of time, but the same point in time I just like stop thinking about things when I'm doing it. I like yes, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, I was at the beach with my family and I was walking up to the seawall and I have starting to have foot drop in my left foot and my left arm is completely not working now and my right shoulder is starting to get a little bit weak. So I'm very unsteady. So I was walking over to the seawall and I like started to fall a little bit. So I put my head into the seawall like to hold myself there, but then I had to yell for help because I was also still going towards the right and couldn't move my right hand. And I was just like I was so just discouraged. And then a few minutes later, my fiance Adam, he's like, "What you thinking about?" And I'm like, "How much I hate my fucking life right now." Like, honestly, like I hate everything right now. This is miserable. And and then just like started crying. So it's like I try not to get into those spirals, but like they do come up and then the kids were like going to do something that I didn't want them to do. So immediately I was just like, "Hey, don't what are you guys doing?" Like I was able to just kind of snap out of it. But yeah, I play games on my phone. I like to color sometimes. I like watching documentaries and things like that. So I I usually like let myself feel the feelings and like cry it out. And then I'm like, okay, I got stuff to do. Let's go. So that's, I mean, that's usually like, I don't often try to distract myself from things. I usually just like do, I feel it and then I move on.
Yeah. I think that's pretty healthy, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really appreciate you taking all the time, but last but not least, sorry, what advice or message would you share with someone that's newly diagnosed or currently struggling with ALS?
Um, let's think. Try to find a community of people like your age, because like the girls in my group are all diagnosed under the age of 35, except for like a few of us that are just over 35. So it's like definitely 40 and under. But the reason that the girl Leah started this is because she the only support groups and stuff were like older men and women. This girl Brooke in our group who's like TikTok famous now, Brooke Ebby, she Ebby, I forget. But she just partnered with a clothing line, Silverts, to make like our age clothing because it's all like for like wheelchair people in wheelchairs to like help easily dress and stuff. So I think the biggest thing is trying to find a community, and also like not getting sucked into the like crap on Facebook because there's a lot of like crappy things and people that claim there's a cure and like all this stuff and it's like get out of here, leave this group, you're horrible. Like just there's no cure yet. If there was, we'd have it. Like, but so try to find that support. Um, feel the feelings. Like you have to do that, but also try not to let that be the end because if I just want to sit here and cry every day in my bed, then like just end it at that point because like what's the point of living if I'm just going to be miserable? And like do things that make you happy. Like we went to Disney last year and before this I would have been like, "Oh no, we can't afford it. We have to figure out this first." Like yes, you need money to live and all that, but also like can't take it with you. So try a way to figure it out now because you may not get the opportunity in the future. Or maybe you can go and do it in the future, but now you're not going to be able to walk when you're doing it. And you could have if you did it 6 months ago. Um, and like live in the present. Like it took me a while to get past this is the last time I'm ever going to do this phase. But once I did, it was just like, I live my life more intentionally. So like live with intention and, um, yeah, just it's if you can find a good group, you're not alone. Um, but if you can't, then like yeah, you do feel alone, you know. But yeah, that's what has helped save me emotionally is having a good support group and just like I have the family and the friends, but the her ALS story group is just a whole different thing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for agreeing to meet with me. I really appreciate all your insights, and
Yeah,
I really
yeah,
hope this can help someone out there find a group
yeah,
or find someone out there that would be love
yeah,
them.
yeah.